Hi, Trevor's on there.
But I'm in the back.
Oh, I'm in the front. I'm right here. I want to be right here. So we're gonna talk for a while. I know, right?
There's 4 in front of you. There's 3 people in front of you.
It's so embarrassing.
Oh, is it funny? Yeah. Oh, yeah. Hey. I sit in the front. Oh, did Trisha? Not there. But, you know, not
May I have your attention, please? The Hawkeye Community College rep is in Mrs. Briley's office. If you previously signed up to see the rep, please go to her office now. Thank you.
Okay. All right. Just a heads up. If you haven't checked your grades online, they're updated as of like last Wednesday or something like that. So if you're missing anything, you have until this Friday to get it turned in. So I know that some people already turned in some late work. That's great. Get it turned in. If you turned some in on Friday last week when I was back, that'll be in the grade book hopefully today when you're kind of working. Okay. Page 141, 147, 156. That is due today. That is when I handed you last Thursday, the subject. That is due at some point today. It's based on doing some geometry proofs and algebra proofs. They're kind of a mixture in there. And then the last couple are just finding the angle. If you're given this picture in a certain stipulation, can you find angle 5 and 6? The numbers, and then tell me what was the major property there. All right, today we'll get rid of this here in a second. Today's main goal is to go over that practice guide. We're going to go through the first 6 problems on that today. If you have not received a practice test, raise your hand, or if you need one. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. Raise your hand if you need one. Down to 1 left. I think we'll do 120 of them. Later period yet. Okay, so today we're going to go through the first 6. We'll kind of walk through. This is exactly what your test is going to look like on Wednesday this week, so kind of keep that in mind. You have a test on Wednesday here. Practice guide. All right, this is our only goal today. I want to go through the practice guide, give you some time to work on your assignment if you haven't wrapped it up yet. All right. Yeah, so this is kind of our goal today. All right, so Chapter 2's practice test, sections 2.1 all the way to 2.8. So that's kind of what you're kind of looking at here. First problem is based on vocabulary terms. So you can kind of see the box off to the right. That's got your vocab terms in it. And that's just a select few that I picked from the chapter. Some of them are actually postulates. I could have picked a theorem. Because you should have on your property sheet, if you have that, remember, you can put any postulate, any theorem from this chapter on there. So you can start adding those to the list. You can't have a second page stapled to it. You can write them on that property sheet if you need them. Now, if you already lost that property sheet, the one that had, you know, like reflexive and commutative and distributive properties, you need to go online and print that out yourself. I'm not going to give you another one. I've already went through 120 for 60-some treatments. I'm not printing anymore. So you got to go online and print those out yourself. You can do that in the media center. So they have that Mac sitting there. You can log into the Mac and print it out. Okay. And you can find those on the website on any of the days we started doing those reviews of like section 2, 3, like that. If you go through the lesson plan, you can kind of figure it out. All right. What I'm going to do for you right now, I'm just going to go down the list and just read off the definitions of these words, and you can write them in there. Question?
I have a question.
I have no more. I literally don't. I want you to 120. I don't know how that is even possible. There has to be more sitting somewhere. So you must have borrowed one. Or there has to be a stack sitting in here somewhere. There's no way to print out all of them. No way to print all those out. That stack will completely too long. Just give me one of the options here. Anyone else, before I get mad? I don't want to have to bring up anymore. There's the now. Okay, so let's go through each of these words. I'm going to say the definitions out loud, so you can figure out where they're at. You can figure out where you need to put them. Remember, you need to write the words down in here. Should give you enough space there. You can actually write them down. Don't draw lines. I don't check those. Don't give a number system. I don't care for that. I'm not going to check it. So, all right. So here's how it works. I'm going to start with the top word. Read each definition. As you go through, you can figure out where that's at up here. Okay, inductive reasoning. It's figuring out a mathematical statement, but it's using patterns, observations to make a logical conclusion, to make a valid conclusion. So patterns, observations, common sense, everything. That's inductive reasoning. Usually that was really good when we did sequences. You had to use inductive reasoning. Okay, next one is congruence. Congruence we've actually had since the first chapter test. It's usually on most of the chapter tests because we talk about congruence a lot. Congruence is when two objects are equal in size, shape, and measure. That's congruent. So it's two geometric figures that be equal in size, shape, and measure. That's congruence. Okay, questions on the top two? So congruence is equal in size, shape, and measure. Contrapositive is some type of related conditional statement where you're going to negate both the hypothesis and conclusion, but what you're doing is you're negating the converse. So that's the big deal. You're negating the converse. That's the contrapositive. Okay. We'll talk about the word negating. That's coming up later. But contrapositive, when you negate the converse, the hypothesis and conclusion. The inverse is different. Inverse is when you negate the original conditional statement. So you negate the hypothesis and conclusion of the original condition. So that's a word that I could put there. So contrapositive, I could definitely put inverse in there. Complementary. It's when two angles sum to be 90 degrees. Another good word I could put there is supplementary. That'd be probably a good word to put there in case. Supplementary means adding underneath. So. Okay, any questions with the top four? found them already. Okay, next word, postulate. Postulate is a mathematical statement that we accept as truth without the need for proof. We don't prove postulates. It's an axiom in math. We just accept it. We actually had a lot of postulates. We've had, what, 11 postulates up to this point? A lot of the postulates are like definitions and lines, planes, points, that type of thing. But then we got to those later ones. Like we talked about postulate 2.8, which was the ruler postulate, 2.9, segment addition postulate. We talked about 2.10, 2.11, where it was the protractor postulate and the angle addition postulate. Those are like the main ones. When they have names, those are main ones. You gotta know those. All right, counterexample. A counterexample is some type of conditional statement. It's a mathematical statement, but it's disproving the conclusion of a conditional statement. The conclusion's wrong. It's disproving it. So, like usually, like if I give you a statement, it'd be like, if I'm listening to music, then I'm using an iPod. Well, the conclusion's wrong. I'm not using an iPod. I'm listening to music, that's true. The conclusion's wrong. So I have to disprove it. That's a counterexample. So maybe I'm using a CD player. Well, that's a counterexample. I'm still listening to music, but I disprove the conclusion. All right, segment addition. Obviously, points have to be in a straight line. Then when you add them up, like AB plus BC equals AC, that's segment addition. You're adding segments together. There's one obvious choice there. Which one's segment addition? Show me the math there. Points have to be in a straight line for that to actually work, for segment addition to actually take place. Usually the postulates and theorems are pretty straightforward because there's some type of formula they're giving you there, so it's pretty obvious which one is segment addition. Negation is when you, it's when you're writing a statement but you're writing the complete opposite meaning of it. That's a negation. It's a statement but it has an opposite meaning. So like a negation of I'm wearing a coat is I'm not wearing a coat. It's the opposite of that. That's a negation. You can negate any statement. Now earlier we used the idea of contrapositive, but we're negating both the hypothesis and conclusion of the converse. Okay. Vertical angles are angles that are formed by straight lines. That's a vertical angle. Angles formed by straight lines. They're equal to each other. That's another thing. That was one of our theorems we had. That was theorem like 2.8. That vertical angles were equal, but they're angles formed by the intersecting of two lines. Okay, the word hypothesis is a part of conditional statement that follows the word if. And our last word here is the word conjunction. It's some type of compound sentence statement, conditional statement, but it uses the word and. That's conjunction. Something and something. Now you're going to have meatloaf and spaghetti tonight. That's a weird statement, but I mean, it's using the word and. That's a conjunction. They used the up arrow. That was one of our mathematical symbols we talked about. Okay. Any words we were missing? Any blanks or any things you didn't quite understand yet? Obviously, I just picked a couple of words from the chapter. These are just a select few. Obviously, I only picked one or two statements that were vertical angles and segment addition. Those were like the theorem and postulate I picked. But I didn't really pick a lot of them. This is kind of the numbers you're going to be probably looking at on the test. Maybe what? Maybe 12 words, something like that. Okay, so you just be prepared. Remember, I could pick some of these. I could pick some of the other words that are in the book. All I did was go through the book and look at some of the vocab terms. And I just picked some up. The words that I know we definitely have discussed for this chapter. Okay, again, so that's something like you should be studying the next couple days. Like, go through your books, see some of the words they skip, know the definitions, look in your notes, what we talked about. That. For some reason, the vocab is the hardest part for anybody, but I don't know why. It's printed in your book. All right, number 2 and 3. Okay, you need to first identify the type of sequence. What I mean by that, identify the sequence. There's 2 types of sequences. There's the arithmetic sequence or it's just a typical sequence. Okay, now the difference between these two, that's what you have to tell me first. Is it arithmetic or is it just a typical sequence? So it's one of these two words. How we know it's arithmetic? That's if your pattern was staying the same the whole time. Like if this is your pattern, what is it going up by the whole time? 2. It's adding to, or I could be subtracting numbers, right? That's an arithmetic sequence. They're adding the same number every time. It's the most obvious type of sequence. It's super easy to understand that. They're adding or subtracting the same number every time. If the pattern skips, like it's going, oh, I'm adding a 1, then the next number I'm adding a 2, and then I'm adding a 3. You know, it's jumping by different numbers every time. Or maybe they're multiplying and dividing, they're, you know, it's bouncing around by different patterns. That's a typical sequence. Sequence is a normal sequence, like a typical sequence, can be any pattern. There's some rule to it. Arithmetic has to be the same number the entire time. They can't switch patterns up. So it's really obvious when like the first 2 numbers can tell you if it's arithmetic or not. Like what is this going down by 7, then down by 6 is automatically not arithmetic. I can tell you that. So the first one, it's automatically a sequence because they chose different numbers as they're going down. It's not saying like down 7, down 7, down 7, down 7. So it's automatically this type. So I just gave you the first answer. And now what you need to do on this particular problem, if you read the instructions, we identified the type. You need to find the number in the missing blank. So you got to follow this pattern, figure out the number in the missing blank, and then find the next 2 numbers after. Does that make sense now? What you have to do? There's 3 parts. You have to tell me this, then you have to find this number here and the next 2. This one here. No matter what. I don't even care if this blank is in the middle, you always have to find the next 2 coming later. Okay, questions with 2 and 3. Again, this is just from one of the worksheets we did in class about this chapter. It takes pure inductive reasoning. I'm just going to pick some easy ones. I'm not going to pick these incredibly hard ones that takes you 30 minutes to figure out. Alright, moving on. 4 and 5. Alright, so now it comes down to the compound statements. So conjunctions and disjunctions. Right? Compound statements. So we need to find the truth value just by using a truth table. So you're going to have to set up a truth table for these. I'll let you guys kind of pick which one you like. So we can do either the conjunction or the disjunction. Which one do you want? 4 or 5? I'll do one of them for you so you can see how this works. 5. All right, we're going to do 5. All right, so here's how it works. We're using Q and R in the statements, so these are the statements we're using. Okay, we're using Q and R. In fact, we're actually using what this little symbol means. We're using the negation of Q. Not just the regular statement, but we're gonna put there are not 30 days in there. So we're gonna put that in. Okay, so that's what the little symbol means. We're using the opposite. So not Q, right? There are not 30 days in June. And what we're gonna do is we're gonna set up a truth table, and we're gonna see which one it is. Okay. Now, what you're looking at here, what the statement is, this is an OR statement. So it's a disjunction. So for an OR statement, for this statement to be true, this little sentence here, this little compound, for this to be true, since it's using the word OR, one of these has to be true. That's all it is. If one of those statements is true, not Q and what is that, the OR, or the R I mean, if one of those is true, it's automatically true. That's just how this works. So in fact, I can tell you the truth value to start with. So there are not 30 days in June. So if you use your little knuckles, January, February, March, April, May, June. June does have 30, so that's definitely a false statement. There are 30 days in June using your little knuckles. There are 3,600 seconds in an hour. That actually might be true. There's 60 minutes in an hour, and there's 60 seconds in every minute. So if I multiply these together, 0, 0, or 0, 36, yeah, it's actually a true statement. So if that's true, there's 3,600 seconds in an hour, and this is false, what can you tell me about this, the truth value of this sentence? Is it true or false? It's true. It's automatically true. It's an or statement. One of the statements had to be true. R happened to be true in this case. So this is definitely a true statement. So I've already answered the first part. So I already figured out if it's true or false. Now I have to set up the truth table to actually justify it. The truth table, if you don't remember, is doing these. And I have a Q and an R column. I'll have a not Q column. And the last column will be the not Q or R column. So this is the truth table if you don't remember how we did these. I always have to set up the first two, the Q and R statement. So how this works, if you don't remember, it was true, true, false, false. Then the R column it alternates true, false, true, false. That's how we always did the truth tables back in this section, like section 2.3, 2.4. Now that we have that set up, now I can do the not Q column. The not Q is basically you look at the Q column and you change these all to be the opposites. That's what the not Q column is. So first one will be false, the next one's false, the next one's true, and the next one's true. How I'm doing that, I'm just changing the opposite of these while I'm doing it. So false, false, true, true. And now the last step, figure out that last row here, I'm using the not Q or R column. So I'm using these two columns right now, this one here and this one, to figure out these statements. Figure out if they're true or false. How this works, since I'm using these two columns here, if there's one T going across right here for these two, it's automatically true over here. That's how it works. If there's one T. So true, false, that's automatically a true because there's one T in there. False, false is false, there's no truth there. True, true is a true, and false, true is still true. Because it's an or statement, so just one of them has to be true. And again, I'm really kind of ignoring this column. I'm not using it. I'm using the R or the not Q column. And in fact, we actually know which one it was, since the R was true and it was not Q was false. It was actually this row right here. That was actually the row we were doing. The R was true, the not Q was false. It was actually the top row. Okay, questions, comments on how we do the truth table, how you actually figure out the actual answer to this? There'll be some statement like that, it'll be something obvious. It'll be a geometry problem. You have to set the truth table. You have to do that for number 4 as well. Now this symbol is the word and. This is the word and. For and statements like this, because that's a conjunction, this is a disjunction, but for the conjunction, for this statement to be true, both have to be true. That's a big deal with these, for conjunction. So the word and. They both have to be true for it to be true. It's not like a false, it's not like this or statement, where just one of them have to work. Okay, questions on 4 and 5? All right, let's go to the next problem. So again, you can work on that on your own. And again, if you're like, I just need more examples of those are good things to go in your book. Look at section 2, 3, 2, 4. There's a couple of those problems. Do the odd ones, because if you check the back has the answers. So you can see if you did it right. That's what I would do. That's what I did. Do some of the odd ones. Check the back. See if I'm doing it right. All right. And we're gonna end with number 6 here. It's gonna be our last one. The first step, we have to identify the hypothesis and conclusion for that sentence. So you have to tell me the H and C. So on this sentence, if you live in Chicago, then you live in Illinois. Which one's the hypothesis on that statement? If you live in Chicago, this is the H part, right? It's always the part following the word if. Which part is the conclusion then? Okay, then you live in Illinois. So this is the conclusion. That's step 1. You automatically get 2 points for doing that. That's pretty obvious. And again, I can write conditional statements in any form. You got to know the different forms I could write in. We'll talk about that in class one day. Okay, so now that we have this, now we have to tell me, is this a true statement or is it false? True. There's only one Chicago in the U.S. Only one. The only other countries that have a Chicago is like Guatemala or Mexico. So in the U.S., Chicago's there's only one city. It's rare. the link. So this is actually Tuesday. I know it's weird. Everyone's like, it's false. There's maybe a Chicago, California. No, there's no link to Rarely.
There's another one in a different country.
No, it's got to be just, we're talking about the states.
Okay.
We're talking about the states. So, and I'll explain that when we get the test. We'll be like, all right, this is just for U.S. and I'll explain that as we go. So. And sometimes on these prompts they give you a picture. So I'm talking about U.S. only. I'm not talking about countries. I'm talking about like the actual city in the states. So, because I expect us to know things about the U.S., not about the countries. So. All right. We'll start with 7 tomorrow. We'll work our way down through 12. Okay? Your goal today, if you can, finish up 1 through 6. Probably got most of them done. Hopefully you got all of them, but you've got most of them done. Hopefully. And you can go back and you can like fix 4, or you can fix 2 or 3, whatever you need to do. Okay, then the other thing, you need to work on page 141, 147, 156. Those have to be turned in today. So at some point today, those have to be turned in. Okay, if you have any late work, because I know some of you had a lot of late work the other day, you need to get that in. It's due by Friday, or else it stays zeros and I don't check it. So, because Monday I think is midterms or something like that. So grades have to be turned in. Letting them grade. Okay, questions, comments on what we're doing here today? Okay, we'll continue tomorrow. Test is what day this week? Wednesday. All right, there you go. This time is yours. You can work on wherever you need.
I guess it kind of has to be this one too, PE,
Good junior on one time.
All right, now, hey, if somebody checked online and they're missing page 111, you're like, I know I turned in 111. Yeah, because you didn't put your name on it. There it is. So, double check.
No, but I don't know.
So somebody has really nice handwriting, they didn't put their name on it, so they didn't get a score for page 111. So if you know, I know
Is
it.
it yours, Raquel?
I think it is, because I have a missing score. I'm like, I'm pretty sure I can get it in.
Is that yours?
Yeah, I feel like it is, and I actually write my name a lot.
Or that one.
And you have good handwriting.
I thought it'd be mine.
She did.
So I do remember the signal front, right? And I did. I started doing this one, and I was like, oh wait, this is for. What's the one about the test? I'm all scratched. Oh yeah, that's what
Lucy, Cassidy.
Oh. I know friends don't say I don't want to break your heart, so like, leave it at that, yeah.
I got this subway like I'm so good with every like I don't know where they went from. I just had somebody from I was working, so I ran my car and I looked up and said, some weekends. Let's see, mate. She goes to my mom. She came to us home.
What?
Lacey and here.
Oh.
And then I wore that dress.
Did you go, did you? I kind of wish I did. I don't know. What'd you do on Saturday?
I just kind of like driving to go. I mean, like, it's like fun. I'm not like, I feel like,
Never going to
Yeah. Like that 10 that's been like, that's
You should know the part.
I was like, yeah. But the beginning was
How many nights do you go?
like the first 2 hours.
Yeah. Okay, so definitely midpoint.
I just kind of like wandered
I
off.
got like five because I was at 189 right there. So 140 day. And then something like 8. I was like, oh my gosh, there's 8.
For substituting. You're taking out the CE and line number E, plugging in AC for E. For substituting. So that's F, and then
Oh, that's not surprising. Yeah.
They just have an 80.
they divided. They went from line G, which you don't have written correctly. You add these, you add F together, 218. This is actually nice.
Wait, what did you say? They got one.
You have that. So that's one.
Oh,
You're kidding.
Work you should have 218.
16.
That's honestly funny. Yeah, like,
Oh, why don't you read it?
yeah.
Oh, that's your
That's
answer.
so great. I don't have 16 of them. I didn't do that.
Okay. Oh, should we read it?
I just like woke up much more. What?
Oh, he hasn't added it.
No. Oh, I do actually. Well, when you go. Oh, I.
I'll change this to add. Oh, yeah, it's not easy to use on your phone. No.
So then I went over this. He's like,
Wow, so what if we read it?
it's like,
Just look at it.
It's very mechanical.
And I was like, yeah, pretty much. And then he just he's like, that was so good, I'm sorry. And I didn't say anything. I'm like, yeah, that was dumb. Yeah. It could not be done. Oh, we were gonna go to